This is a stove video, and what we are testing today is that MSR has a competitor. I think the MSR reactor has a competitor. It's been the classic option for years, and we are going to see if the Priimus Ulti can stack up to it. Me and my great trail friend Brian Jump here in Arizona are going to test these two stoves, and we're going to test a new recipe today. What are we cooking? We're making a Southwest stew. So we're testing two stoves, and we're testing two recipes to see if it can make it on the website. Let's get cooking. Hey, Chef Corso, Outdoor Eats. I'm here to put you on the path to amazing meals on your outdoor treks. I want you to throw away your packaged meals this season and actually cook with these camp stoves at whatever elevation, whatever trip you're going on. I want you to be able to eat well, and I want you to cook when you're going out there. So everybody, introduce you to Brian Jump. Been a seasoned veteran in the outdoor space. How long have you been a guide?
My entire career, so for 26 years.
26 years of a guide. So you have cooked on a number of stoves.
Lots of stoves.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to get your opinion on these. And have you ever seen this Priimus Ulti?
First time. No, I'm excited to check it out.
Okay, cool. And have you cooked on the reactor before?
I sure have, yeah.
Okay, that's been around for a long time.
It has.
And for good reason. It's a very, very solid stove. I've been very excited for this video because Priimus sent me this as a sample to be able just to test out and feel out, and I haven't had a chance to put them side by side yet. And by the way, where are we in this?
We're in the Phoenix Mountain Preserve. It's 7,000 acres in the middle of the city, and there's probably 100 miles of trails here for horseback riding, mountain biking, and hiking. It's
awesome. It's a very approachable area in the northern part of Phoenix. I just did a great hike this morning up Paistua Peak.
Yeah.
And I love traveling around because you get to find these kind of regional parks that maybe aren't on all of the maps or on all the trails, but you find them like, wow, this is quite beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, this is a city park. It's 7,000 acres. There's probably dozens of trailheads all around the park. And so people that live here, tourists that come into town, 2 million people summit Paistua every year.
2 million?
Yeah.
Well, I saw like a couple hundred of them.
Yeah, you probably did. Yeah.
Very, very busy.
This is the time of year.
So if you're already in Phoenix and you need to get outside, this is a great spot to be able to do it. But we're talking stoves here today. So we are going to take a look at the specs for both of these and set these both up. All right, Brian, which one would you like to start with for setup?
Let's do the new one.
Okay, so Priimus Ulti. Get some nice close-up shots here.
Cool.
But looks like the setup is pretty straightforward.
Nice stable base.
Stable base. We do have 3 feet on there. Do you want to show the folks
sure.
how that all works?
Nice. These guys flip open and close.
Okay.
So when you store it, put it in your pack, it packs down snug.
Okay, that is a helpful thing for sure.
Yeah, it looks like this screws on, no problem.
Yep.
Nice. Let's see, let's get that oriented right.
Yep. And this is a new, relatively out of the box. We haven't used it too many times, so there is a little bit of tightness that I've noticed here in this connector, but I think that can get dissipated over time.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
You get it stable there.
And then for our pot, what do we got here?
Looks like this goes on, and this is one of the things I look for is how secure and easy this get on there. So this just sets on there with no locking function.
So there's no locking function, but what I did notice,
there's a lip there.
Little bit of a lip, which can be helpful for just general insurance for tipping. Yeah, and looks like also some nice wind resistance there with the extra baffling.
For sure. 1 liter pot.
Yep. So both of these are 1 liter. So we are doing a side by side. Yep. Easy on. Okay. Yeah. So it looks like a solid chimney style stove from Ulti. So for a lot of you seasoned veterans out there, you have seen this burner many, many times. You probably have one, but this is the reactor. Okay. And just easy screw on. So no gas cord.
There we go.
All right.
Let's see this one here.
Situated on the rocks.
Nice.
Okay. And then as far as our pot.
Plastic top on this one as opposed to the metal one.
Oh, good note. Yep.
Looks like a steam release here that you can close off if you want it to boil more quickly.
Okay.
And this one as that one just
All right.
sets on top nicely.
All right, let's see what the bottom looks like on that.
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay, similar.
Yeah.
Very, very close.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see boil time difference
Yeah,
for sure.
totally. And does this have any lip or any integration?
It does have a lip, no integration though.
Okay, so both of these do not have any secure integration, but just a little bit. But just be mindful of this because it's okay. But actually, this does have, well,
Pretty secure.
pretty secure, but both can easily be tipped over.
Yep.
So when you are setting up, obviously we're going to level these out when we get to cooking. But one beginner tip that I can give all you guys out there is always hold your pot when you are stirring it because you never know when it's going to tip over.
Speaking of that, nice handles on each of them.
Good point. So both of them look very, very similar. And pretty similar setups too. One obviously sits right up here on the canister. One sits on its tripod, but very, very similar construction. And also, let's take a look at those burners side by side. I want to zoom in on that. Very, very similar construction. Both of them are infrared. And here are the BTU numbers that I checked with the companies. And actually, Ulti is higher than MSR, which is very, very interesting. But I'm excited to see how these cook, how these boil water, how these simmer, because I want to cook things. Don't want to scorch the bottom. But we're going to take a look at our ingredients for our Southwest stew. Are you excited for Southwest stew?
I sure am.
All right, good. So you've cooked on a lot of stoves.
Sure have.
And what are some things that you look for in a stove construction when you are taking it backpacking or even car camping?
Well, some of it is really ease of use, and you really want to be able to set up quickly and get cooking fast.
I'm glad you said that because I got a list here of all the things we're going to look at today, and those are number 1 and number 2.
Nice.
Okay, so we've got ease of setup, packing efficiency.
Yep.
Okay.
Those are two key ones. It is nice if the pot itself can be used to avoid the void space in your pack. So something like with these, you might be able to put the fuel in there, so it's all together. When you pull it out of your pack, you don't have to go rooting around trying to find the fuel and the spare parts for it. So it's nice when it's all contained in one together.
And I think both of these have that same feature where a canister can fit easily into this 1 liter pot. Yeah.
Another one is stability. And so this new stove by Primus seems to be really stable with the integrated feet. I think these actually, the reactor might come with some auxiliary feet that you can attach to the canister itself, but it's really nice to have it integrated in there, not having to set it up. It's just flip and go with the Primus. So I'd give that a check mark on the Primus for sure.
Well, and for all you guys out there, what Brian is referencing, if you're new to cooking with these canister stoves, there's this little tripod thing. It can be part of the package. It wasn't in this specific package, but you can get it just anywhere. They're a couple bucks. It can help with overall stability of this specific setup.
Yeah, particularly when you're cooking, not just boiling water, you're stirring the pot and things like that. Like you said earlier, holding on to the pot is key, but not having the stove wiggle around underneath you is so nice.
Totally. Good call. So stability. Anything else you can think of?
Well, I mean, when you said it earlier, like the ability to regulate the temperature is so key when you're cooking and not just boiling water. So being able to simmer, bring it down low, and for the flame not to blow out immediately. So that's a key function that I think any stove you're going to be cooking on should be able to do for you.
Totally. So I have simmering here and also wind resistance.
Yeah.
So we're going to check out both those. It does, we do have a little bit of a breeze here on the top of the mountain, so that can be good to see if these blow out or can stay lit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another is just reliability. You know, they're good for the long haul. You don't have to service them. They just fire up when you need to use them, and you don't have to do a whole lot of maintenance on them.
Totally agree. And from your early setup, do these feel like they're sturdy?
They're both, I think, equally high quality builds. I actually really like the metal lid as opposed to the plastic one. You know, that's not going to burn on you if you make a mistake and set it on something hot or get it too close to the fire or the flame itself.
Totally. Other things that I look for are always just something when you are taking out your camp stove is gas type.
Yeah.
So what gas type does it use? Is it only used in one, or is there an adapter that you can take along as well? Both of these mostly use the isobutane canisters, so that's good to check off. I like cooking, so I've always looked at the burner makeup as far as how much coverage it is covering with the pot, and both of these are frankly fantastic. There are a lot of stoves and pot combinations out there that are like a quarter size. So maybe the burner only hits right here. So it's maybe like a 30% coverage on the bottom of the pot, which it's still going to boil water and it's still going to cook, but it's going to take a little bit longer. And that even cooking is not going to happen. But here, I mean, look at that. Like that's almost like 100%, maybe like 95, 98% coverage as far as burner on pot. So we're going to probably get some very, very nice even cooking.
That's great.
So that's what I'm excited to try too. What else is on my list? Long list of things to check out. Oh, igniters. Do either of these have a built-in igniter?
It doesn't look like it.
It does not look like it. And to me, that's completely fine because I don't know about you, but I have never had an igniter that was given to me on a stove last for any amount of time.
Yeah, that's one of those things that you'll end up having to do a field fix, or you actually just have to pull out the lighter.
Just pull out the lighter. Like, I always bring a lighter or some sort of spark or fire starter because like I am not assuming that igniter is going to work, because the time that I assume it's going to fart out, and it's going to be very, very hard to light that burner if I don't have a lighter.
Which is another thing, really. I mean, how hard is it to light with a lighter? Some of them are finicky, and you can tend to burn yourself. Others fire up with just a little spark, and I know I've used the reactor a lot, and it fires up really easily.
't cool. Well, it'll be fun to check out once we finally start cooking, which I'm getting hungry. Any safety features that we can notice?
Well, I mean, not.
I mean, they're pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
There's not like there's kid gloves in the box. I think the safety features that I can think of is just a little bit of integration on the pot. So it's not just a tripod with a stainless steel or a metal pot that's going to slide off. So there is a little bit there. We do have regulators for the burner. I think a potential safety feature would be these feet.
Yeah, and maybe even having the corded style, having the igniter or the regulation a little bit further away from the heat is kind of nice. For sure.
So not that these aren't safe, but there's not, I don't think, screaming out safety features about them.
Isobutane is generally stable and easy to use. I started backpacking using white gas, and if you've ever used white gas, it's highly flammable, and you can end up with some ground fires if you don't use it properly.
It's really fun though.
Yeah, it is fun.
It's really fun, but you got to be mindful of what you're doing and priming your stoves and all that kind of stuff. So that's another video for you. So we talked about pot and pan integration. We're eventually going to talk about water boiling time and cooking and simmering. So one thing that's interesting that I was figuring out when I was researching this video is compatibility with other pots. So is this versatile with other pots that MSR and or Primus has? And this reactor does work with 3 different sizes of pots.
Oh, that's great.
Which is super great. So if we're just cooking for you and me like we are today for like a liter, that's great. They do have some larger pots, which you can check out here. So if you're cooking for a larger group, especially at higher elevation when it's colder, then you can still take this burner, and it can be versatile to be able to scale up or scale down just depending on how many people you're cooking for.
Oh, that's great.
Ulti, as of right now, doesn't seem like they have other pots available, but it is a relatively new product. I'm hoping if this is successful for them that they can create some larger capacity pots. So it can be a little bit more compatible. But that was an interesting note too. So we covered a lot of things, and that's a lot of factors to consider when you are purchasing a pot or taking a pot. Is there anything else you can think of?
Not really. I mean, I think we hit the primary points. Does it fire up every time you try? Does it pack down nice? And is it sturdy and reliable?
I think one thing we haven't talked about yet is cleaning. Are things going to get stuck to the bottom? But I think it's a great segue into boiling water, which is what you guys all love. It's the boiling water channel, not the outdoor eats channel. So we're going to boil half a liter of water because that's going to be a great base for our Southwest stew. And we're going to look at our ingredients that we're going to try to make a great new recipe.
Great, let's do it.
Okay. All right, Brian, let's get some water in the pot.
Let's do it.
Very, very exciting times. Half a liter each. And guys, for all you seasoned vets out there, is these are meant to be used at high elevation, colder temperatures, and very well known for being snow melters. So I get a little bit of the irony. We are testing it on a sunny day in the desert, but that's where the Vagabond tour has brought me here today, and it's still going to be a good test. But I look forward to more testing at some colder temperatures and melting some snow to see how that could work.
All right, half a liter, chef.
All right, so both of these are graduated on the inside, correct?
That is
Okay,
right.
that is helpful. Great. So we've got a half a liter in each one, and let's light up the burner.
Fire them up.
Fire them up, because I want some stew. And it's a little bit hard to see in the light here, but it is lit.
Sure is.
Very, very careful. Get that rolling. Yep, full bore.
That's full.
Let's get number 2 going.
That is lit.
All right, so both of those lit pretty quickly, which is great. And if you're very, very new to cooking inside or outside, always boil your water with a lid on, because the steam gets controlled in there and captured in there, and it does increase your boil time slightly. So we're going to let this roll, and we'll let you know how it reacted. All right, things are happening quickly. That's great. Still happening. One thing to note too with this Primus is this lid is very nicely constructed with a little bit of tack. So meaning it fits perfectly into the pot. So just be mindful you're taking it off. Wow, like that was very, very fast. Just only a couple minutes.
I shut that one down.
All right, shut that one down. And then how are we doing in the Primus?
Let's see. Got some fish eyes.
Okay. So Primus taking another 30 seconds or so.
But we did light that one afterwards, so
yeah.
I think they're neck and neck.
Okay, we are boiling. Yep, really hot. So there's a safety feature for you. Wow, rip it. So I would say the Primus took an extra, 30, 45 seconds?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, at least for this test here today on this mountain in this weather. But overall, both very, very quick. Very, very efficient as far as boiling water. So if that's all you need it for, it will do it, and it will do it very quickly. Your boiling times will vary differently based on elevation, temperature, all kinds of other factors.
How full your canister is.
How full your canister is, all kinds of factors. That's also another video. But boiling water, both thumbs up, and does it pretty darn quick. All right, guys, here are our ingredients for our Southwest stew test. And the idea for this recipe is that I want it to be bulletproof. I want you to be able to take this on day 7, day 8 of a backpacking trip, or just making up a quick batch when you're car camping or just a one-night backpacking trip. So we have some dehydrated beans, the full bean. They also come in refried, but we're going for the bigger ones because I want to see how these stoves simmer with them. We have some pork rinds, and if you've never cooked with pork rinds, they can give you another awesome protein source on the trail. And then I found a packet of bone broth, so flavor up our broth for our stew in there. We'll split that in between. And then in each one of these pots, we're going to try 2 different corn products. We're going to try Doritos, and we're going to try corn nuts. And I got Tapatio flavor here today because I think that can give us maybe a jump start for flavoring our dish. But I'm really wondering is if all the flavor we have here on our snacks, if we don't have to pack another ingredient, which is chili powder or anything else. So I do also have some tahini. If you're new to this, this is a great seasoning for a little bit of chili powder and some acid. So that can help complement things. And I do have one fresh thing. Maybe this wouldn't last day 7, but this could last for day 3, day 4, and have a little bit of texture and a little bit of freshness and crunch at the end to kind of round off our Southwest flavors. But I've never tested this recipe. Have you cooked with pork rinds before?
Never have. I've definitely eaten them on a road trip.
Yes, for sure. So we are going to test that out. I'm excited for you to try them because I love cooking with them. They give a great body and great flavor. So we are going to do a double banger camp stove action here for testing our Southwest stew. All right, we got the lids off and let's start throwing some beans in there. And we're looking for about a 1/4 cup. You can eyeball it. We're cooking on the trail. Maybe a little bit more than that.
All right. More?
Yeah, maybe a little bit more.
All right.
Okay, so both of them have the same amount of beans.
Good stuff.
Good, hearty protein. Okay, and now let's throw some pork rinds in there. And hot chip, open it from the bottom. Open it from the bottom.
Oh, okay. Talk to me.
So all of the flavor is at the bottom as it's been transporting. So the bottom pork rinds or bottom chips are the most flavorful in the bag.
Wow, that's a pro tip if I ever heard one.
Can I have one?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, these are big fat. Oh, very, very light. Wow, look at those.
Looks great.
Awesome. Yep. Go ahead and throw those in the pot too. Yep. Nice little chili, a little salt.
Hear them crackling.
Perfect.
How's that? Whole bag?
That is looking great. How much more have we got in there?
Probably at about half again as much.
I think we're good. We'll start with that.
Cool.
Okay, so let's do a handful of corn nuts in one and a handful of Doritos in the other. Corn nuts in the Primus.
Oh, open from the bottom. Well done.
So
Oh,
have
yeah.
your hand here. Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice seasoning on there. That'll get all mashed up.
Beauty.
And then let's split our chicken bone broth packet between the two. So that should give us some extra flavor and some extra protein, which is a nice little feature. And again, folks, I've never tested this specific recipe. I've made pozole, I've made tortilla soup. This is kind of a hybrid approach to both of those.
Awesome.
Okay. Yep. And let's put a little bit of tahini in there right now. Get that spoon out. You can always add more of this, but I'm just going to add maybe like a teaspoon. It's looking pretty good. All right. Well, let's get these burners going.
You got it.
And test this thing out. So the water is already warm because we did our boil test. So we're just looking to bring this up to a boil and then to a simmer to test the simmering power. And other thing I can share for some other research is some tips from the rest of the internet is to light it from the side if you ever have some issues, rather than just like straight on.
Top on or top off, Chef?
Top on, please.
Got it.
Get that thing ripping.
All right.
All right, so we're turning it up to full blast to get it up to a rolling boil. Then we'll turn it down to a simmer.
One of the cool things I noticed about the Primus is these little metal wings help you toggle the simmer up and down without turning the bottle left and right. It's cool.
For sure. And what I've noticed oh, wow, man.
That boiled fast.
That boiled very fast. All right. Ooh, very, very hot. Be careful. Right. And guys, too, if you're new to these chimney style stoves and you're ever concerned that it's going to boil over, what you can do in a kind of a pinch is just take it off the heat and then adjust your heat back on there so it doesn't boil over and get all messy.
That's a great tip.
But yeah,
Bring it down
to a simmer if we can. And man, the Primus is right behind it.
Yep.
Woo! Look at that. Man, that's already smelling delicious. And the other thing about these two little feet over here, you can also flip the canister over when it gets a little bit low, so you can have some better pressure for releasing the gas for a more even cook when you're getting down low on the canister. Wow, that's looking pretty cool. Have you ever cooked with corn nuts?
Never cooked with corn nuts. I've
Wow.
eaten a lot of them.
What's this?
We used to call them farmer's teeth
Farmer's teeth.
because they look
Hmm.
like a person who doesn't take care of their teeth.
Oh, that makes some sense. All right, so we're still simmering on both of them, yeah? Oops, I just turned this one off. And guys, while these are starting to cook up, this is going to need to cook for at least about 5 minutes to hydrate up those beans. Take a look at these shots of the burner at night. So you can see the makeup, and also I tested this at night when a very, very windy situation. But you can just kind of see what the actual burner looks like, because it's very, very different from other camp stoves. So both look like they're capable of simmering, which is a good thing. And Brian, why don't we dig a spoon down on the bottom there?
Got it.
Just give them a nice stir, making sure our beans are not sticking to the bottom. Or how we doing?
They're not stuck.
Okay, that's a good thing. So with any new stove, it does take a little bit just to dial in its capabilities as far as its simmering, how hot, how medium, how low, and I think we're figuring that out together.
Yeah.
But they are definitely cooking, which makes me happy. And I think dialing in that simmering capability just takes a little bit. So are you noticing anything different with the two pots with tortilla chips or corn nuts?
Well, we've got some rich red color from the Tapatio Doritos.
Mm-hmm.
And the corn nuts kind of floating on top. Not sure what kind of hydration's going on with them, but assuming they are getting hydrated with that simmering water.
Mm-hmm.
I am struggling a little bit with keeping this on simmer. There we go.
Nice. So far with the simmering test, how are you feeling about them?
Well, they both are simmering, but I would like to see them go down a little bit lower without going out. Mm-hmm. The simmer point goes from simmer to off really quickly.
Okay.
And so,
is there one that is performing better in the simmer test?
Yeah, I'd say the Primus is marginally better, and it might be the width of the pot itself is it looks like the diameter is maybe a ½ inch wider or something, and maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, and also could just be the makeup of the burner itself.
Sure.
But that's what I'm noticing too, is that MSR is doing okay with that, but it takes a little bit more dialing in, especially with our first test here. And I would be concerned in a very windy condition if I needed to simmer something.
Yeah.
It seems like the Primus is simmering a little bit more and a little bit easier. Great. Well, we are going to cook up this stew to completion, and then we're going to test it. Stay tuned. We are cooking away here, but we've got one more ingredient to be able to add, and that is our fresh red pepper. So we're just going to chop and slice that up here right over the pot. Old-timey style. Don't worry, Brian's a professional. And this is not a have to have, but I want to test this out today and see if that can give us some nice micronutrients, some color, and some texture, and kind of make us feel like we're not just eating bags of chips. Even though I think this is going to turn out to be a nice hearty soup. All right, we're going to let that cook for just a minute. I don't want to overcook it, still want some crunch in there. And we are going to try this recipe for the first time. Okay. And if you can give me a spoon and just kind of show me what's all in there. I might pull it out. Oh, yeah. Perfect. time. So we have the Priimus Ulti with corn nuts. Nice little stew. MSR reactor. Tapatio tortilla chips. Doritos. Very, very similar looking stews here. Are you more excited for one or the other, Brian?
You know, looking at them, I think I might be about the Tapatio.
The tortilla chips, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's try them out. Brian had a great idea to chef it up. Oh. Wonderful. See, this is why you hike with the seasoned veteran. All right, you ready for a snack?
I'm ready for a snack.
Okay, so we are starting with the corn nuts. That's what you've got.
Yeah.
Dig in.
Looks great, man. Ooh, great flavor.
Wow. You are totally right. That has a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
And we didn't add any other seasoning.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
And corn nuts hydrated. We got a little extra crunch from them on the top. That's
Mhm.
good. We got a little bit of color and a little bit of texture also from the pepper.
I'm kind of surprised how the pork crackling kind of stayed together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it's nice and soft and gelatinous in a good way. So it breaks down, but then also gets nice and soft. Wow.
Mm.
I'm pretty happy with that one. How you feeling?
Really good. A lot going on with just a few ingredients.
Okay. Other corn product. Tortilla chips
Yeah.
with seasoning. Also, kind of like that chicken bone broth packet in there too. Okay.
A little bit more flavor punch in the corn nut for me. Yeah.
Yeah, which is surprising.
Yeah, which I'm really surprised at.
I'm really surprised. I mean, I'm interested. Like, it's really surprising because when I was just eating the Tapatio Doritos, they were good, but they didn't give a massive amount of flavor.
Yeah.
But I could see this working with like the chili verde, even just spicy nacho.
Yeah.
That could be pretty good too to give you some good flavor. Do you have a preference? Ooh, look at that big pork rind. Oh yeah, to me that looks good. Mm. Do you have a preference with corn chip or corn nut?
Well, I think I'm a convert. I thought it was going to be the corn chip, but I'm about the corn nut a little bit more.
Okay. All right. Well, I think the last test will be then double corn.
Let's check it out.
Oh, yeah. Get that out there. Pack out bag. Crunched in there. An interesting thing too, as it's been sitting here, is it continues to hydrate.
Yeah, sure does.
So it can get really thick and stewy, or it can be pretty brothy, just depending on how you like it.
Get in there, chef.
Oh, I get a first try on this one? Thank you. Get it. Ah, yeah, there you go. Mmm.
A lot of crunch. It's good.
That's a lot of crunch. That's really good.
It's really good.
That shouldn't be very good.
Few ingredients, plenty of spice.
Plenty of spice, and doesn't need any more salt, doesn't need any more seasoning. So
No.
that's a huge win. So I think for all you guys out there, this will make the website. So check it out at outdooreats.com. If it's up to you if you want to do dose corn, dose maize, or if you want to just do one. But you were mentioning that corn nuts are a little bit more packable.
Yep.
Sure, you could crunch up the tortilla chips, but corn nuts, you just throw it in your pack.
Yeah, and if you're someone who does a little bit of prep before you go out on the trail, you could throw a mixture in a bag. If it gets destroyed in there and crunched up, it all the better to flavor your stew.
All good. Well, I think our recipe test was successful today.
Agreed.
All right, Brian, you've tested both of these stoves. How do you feel?
I think they're both great. You know, if you were to make me choose,
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably go with the tried and true because it is tried and true. The MSR reactor has been around for a long time. It's trail tested over many years, and I really like that it's compact. There's no additional cord that you have to work with, and it's something you can trust. But you know, if you gave me either one of these stoves and sent me out into the backcountry, I'd be really happy.
Yeah, that's the way I feel too. I think there's some definite pros with we know what this is, right?
Yeah.
Sure, new things are hard sometimes, but we know what this is, and I love that currently the MSR has some compatibility with other pots.
Yeah.
Scaling up, scaling down, depending on how you're cooking and who you're cooking for. So I think that's a huge win. I do like some features of the Primus, which is the metal lid. I like the tripod feet for a little bit more stability.
Really nice.
And it seemed like the Ulti simmered a little bit better than the MSR. It needs a little bit more testing on that, but just on this initial test
I'd agree.
On the top.
It simmered really nicely.
And that matters to me because I'm usually cooking, not just boiling water. And I don't want to have to keep finicking with it and keep relighting it and all that kind of stuff, especially in a windy condition. So I'm like, I hope that Primus will continue to experiment with this and add some more pots to the selection. So I want basically both of these to just get mashed up together.
Yeah.
But both are very, very good stoves. Good, sturdy construction. They're both going to last for a long time, I believe. And you can't go wrong. So up to you on which one you want to purchase. But hopefully this test was successful for you for both cooking and for the burners. But get out there. Cook something amazing, go to a local park, go on a longer haul hike, whatever it is, but get outside and cook something and share it because it's way more fun to be able to share it with somebody else than me just eating chips on the top of a mountain. But get out there. Boca boca.
Take care. Nice and secure. Great.